into a problem, it just won't say anything. It still won't work. It just won't show those warnings. You put the @ symbol in front of your function, and that makes it silent. It won't echo out warnings now. So if I save this out, go back and refresh it, it's error connecting, but not all that stuff it was trying to send before.
Very, very nice.
So now if we go back in, and then we go back to the DB config, and we actually correct this, save it out, refresh, and connection made.
Excellent. Now, do we want to go ahead and show them what we can do with that little folder that you created?
Oh yes, the fact that you could still access that. Now, if it's secure as long as PHP is running correctly. As in, if we loaded that script up here, it would be just a blank screen because it's creating variables but not doing anything with them. Now, what we can do to make sure that it's totally secure and that you don't have access, like let me go ahead and type this in then, config db config.php. It's basically letting you in that script actually ran. So if someone could find some way of getting that script to give the variables, then they'd have access to your system. What I'm going to do is go
to your database, that is.
Database. Yep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and have Apache basically disallow access to the whole config folder, so that someone from a web browser won't even be able to get into the config folder.
Cool.
Now to do that, I'm going to go back to my text editor. Open, let me go up a level to program files, go into the Apache group. This is, like, remember when we first had to edit that HTTPD config file to make PHP work in the first place? This is similar to that. We're just changing the settings. So inside of Apache, inside conf, let me drop this down to all files so I can see the httpd.conf file. Let me load that in. And
this is the file that I spent some time working inside VTM issue number 1.
Right. So let me go and scroll down, and bear with me for a second as I try to get through a zillion lines. And let's see. All right. So here we had, up here we told it that the web root was that KDrive web root. We said to look for here because remember when Apache initially installs, it puts the web root to htdoc. So we changed that ourselves and pretty much left everything else alone. But now that's basically how you use the Apache's directory tag inside of its conf file. We're going to create one of these tags on our own. So since I dislike typing so much, I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to go below. So we're out of the web root directory. Paste it, and this time we're going to be working in kwebroot config. And let me close that tag so don't get into trouble. And yes, I'm the master of copy and paste. So we're going to specify some stuff inside of config. We're going to say deny from all. No one's allowed to get anything inside this folder if they're running through Apache or going through Apache. So let me go ahead. Might just add a comment. If you go in here and edit, this is a big file. If you go in here and edit it, it is a good idea to go and comment what you do so you can find it later. So keep people out of database config, something like that, just so you can see it later.
Yep, looks good.
So deny from all. I'll save that out. Now I need to restart Apache so it loads this config file back in. So I'll go back to my desktop, which is about a zillion layers down. Okay, and I will have to restart Apache. This shortcut is normally found in the Start menu under Apache. I just copied it here to make it quicker. So I'll restart Apache, loads up, restarts. Now, if I bring my web browser back up, you remember this script loaded. Again, it's blank because all it did was set variables. But let me try to go to it again. Forbidden. Don't have access.
Nice.
So now, no one, no matter how much they know about how you have your how you're set up, they still can't get your passwords. So that pretty much concludes setting up establishing a MySQL connection from inside of PHP.
So I guess what we could do, though, is a real quick recap. Basically, what Logan did is he created a global PHP file, if you would, and he put it up under a very special folder that he just showed you how he was able to block access from people getting into. But PHP can still get into it. And inside that special folder, what he did is he just basically had 4 different variables set inside of a PHP tag for the DB host, DB user, password, and name, and he assigned those in there. And it's a good idea to keep this information out of the files that are going to be available to everyone, that's going to be basically accessing these files with their browser. Then he went in, if you go ahead and switch over to the other one, then he went in and actually wrote the start of his HTML file, if you would, that's going to contain, or PHP file that's going to contain the database connection stuff and working with any data, where he just simply had a PHP tag, and inside of it he's got the require and information for the actual config file, which is going to make that other PHP file run, so that we'll have access to these variables inside this script right here. And then from there, he just simply connected to the database, and inside there, he showed you how we now have access to the variables $db host, etc., etc. And he showed you at the end how we could put or die. In other words, if it did not successfully connect, then we'd return back the error connecting. And you guys also saw that it also returned back the warnings and the issues that we had with connecting. And by putting the @ symbol before the actual connect command, that it would just kind of silence all of that. And then finally, he talked about how the script would not continue if that had basically died out on us. So he put in the echo connection made, so that we could see that indeed it was continuing on, and we did actually make the connection. And then from there, he basically made our little config folder inaccessible to other people, and that's about it. Okay,
Yep.
so that concludes this section right here. We'll see you in the next. Thanks a lot.